I was listening to Harley Morenstein from Epic Mealtime on a podcast, Painkiller Already, and he was talking about this concept of take them with you. This was brought up because they were talking about YouTubers who had stopped doing YouTube, particularly in the gaming scene and the Call of Duty scene. These people that would, share aspects of their everyday, of their personal life. They would give advice. They would give tips and tricks about the game. And they became, big parts of other people's life. If you look at, PKA, Woody's Gamertag, he went, did the Mail Monday and did all sorts of, series with the day of the week where you would get to know him, or you get to know his gaming style, or you get to know his family or whatever the situation would be. And so you kind of grow with these people, and then all of a sudden when their time in the spotlight is up, so to say, when it is no longer their time anymore, when it is no longer like a career for someone, they can go away, right? But one point that was being made was that if it's really in you, if you had your audience and stuff like that, you never really go away. You might be gone, you might not upload as frequently as you do, but you always are there. There's always like a video, there's always something that you're sharing with the audience, and I thought that was a pretty funny thing. Like, thinking about my own experience with YouTube, is even if it's not been the same channel, or if it's not been regular uploads, or whatever the situation is, there's always, even if it's not the same audience exactly, there's always some sort of like sending out of a signal, some sort of like letting them know. And I guess he was talking about, or he being Harley was talking about this in the context of his Epic Mealtime, the daily vlogs that he was doing at the time, the Instagram, his Snapchat, any of these umbrella social medias for him. He's got this audience that he relates to, and they're different audiences for different platforms for different audiences, and kind of who's there. It was interesting to kind of hear him talk like that. But one thing specifically where this example really hit home with me was that there was like this I almost said Finstagram. There was this Instagram fitness model, and she was not like a ginormous one. In fact, here we'll pull up her. But yeah, she had 300,000 followers. Just pretty basic Instagram kind of stuff. Yeah. And she, in March, I guess even a step before that, would sometimes, take like small little breaks, like, oh, I'm gonna take the week off, I'm gonna take the rest of the month off, I'm gonna do whatever it is. She would post it daily on her Snap, or on her Instagram, and then also have stories, and she always lots of content. This is also a fitness model. She's also sharing workouts, she's sharing her progress, and lots of the comments. All right, so we just picked another random post. Her comments are: so round, peach emoji, wow, beauty back, love your back, amazing body shape, yar, beautiful body. March comes around and she's hanging out with family. She's like posting stories of hanging out with nieces, nephews, all sorts of uncles and grandparents, like all sorts of like family kind of gathering. And then she stopped posting for a while, and I was like, oh, it's another break. It's another she's with family, she's doing something. She doesn't have to live like everybody else, because she doesn't have a career like everyone else. She doesn't have to show up from 9 to 5, right? She doesn't have to post regularly. And so then like the break kept going, and it got longer, and I was like, I wonder, there's no way she just quit, right? There's no way, right? So I went to her last post and then started scrolling through, and it was just like, oh, so sexy, so beautiful, you were amazing, like the comments. And then you get to like a few RIPs, and then a lot of RIPs. And then if you Google her name, I found out that she was in the car with her cousin. Her cousin shot her and then himself while they were driving down the road. And the guy was a police officer. They gave him like a real hero's kind of funeral. Didn't really make mention of him being a murderer. And so it was just kind of weird thinking of like me as like this audience member. I completely lost my train of thought there, but I had been one of those audience members going back to search for, to be with them, to keep them with you, to learn more, to see what was going on. And then when you go back and it's find out, like, there is no way, to let anybody know, right, that you're dead or anything like that. And especially, like, what is the appropriate, response for you as the audience member, or as you as a content creator? Should there be some sort of something in like a will that mentions something being taken care of with your digital presence? But yeah, so I think it's just kind of like the mysteries of the internet, so to say. There's mysteries of real life, and I think that this is a little bit of a mystery of the internet, being that you'll never know when someone goes. And so I think that's the real thing about keep them with you, because the only other assumption really is that they're kind of dead, because the same thing happens when someone dies versus just when they decide to like kill their personality or whatever it is, whenever they decide to be done being whoever that old account was. But yeah, it was just kind of something that has been kind of weighing on my mind, and this whole thought of the Harley Morenstein and keep them with you is always kind of floating around in there, as someone who spends a lot of time on YouTube and Twitch and following different people and being parts of different audience members. And then this has just been something I found out recently has happened with the death of the fitness Instagram model. And so it's something that's been the experience of the two is just kind of shaping each other, and it's going back and forth. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. I thought it was worth sharing. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.